In continuation to our topic on design and components of fermenters, we have already studied temperature control in detail, agitation, which is also called as impeller. In detail, we have studied, and today we will be studying about aeration, which is also called as sparger. So, agitation, as you have already studied, without you know that it is used for mixing of medium, which is very essential in large scale fermentation. So in this diagram you can see the topic for today is aerators, also called as spargers. You can see the sparger well below. So what you can see in the diagram is a cylindrical fermenter. Below you can see at the bottom one pipe just enters. It is the arrow mark shows air. That is, this pipe enters into the fermenter at the bottom. It is called as ring sparger. We call it as sparger is a tube through which air is supplied into the fermenter. You can see arrow mark is written as air. So air will enter into the fermenter. Now you may ask the question, what is the real role of air here? So role of air is supply of oxygen to microorganisms. Most of the organisms used in the industrial fermentation are aerobic organisms. So without air, fermentation cannot be done. So we supply air through a tube and we call it as sparger. In this diagram you can see both aerators and agitators both are highlighted in the diagram. Agitators are also called as impellers. It is hanging from the top uh, till 3/4 distance of the fermenter. So you can see from the top one in the middle of the from middle of the fermenter one shaft, a thick tube goes, that is called as we call it as a shaft, and you can see the two blades on both the sides. This is the diagram of agitator which you have already studied, and below that is the aerator. And you can see that there are some calculations. Simply they don't place the things. There is a rule that the agitator should be it should cover half of the inside fermenter's diameter, and the blade should be placed at a distance of 3/4 of the diameter, 3/4 of the height of the fermenter. So all those calculations have to be taken into consideration for placing the agitator and aerators. Now coming into the aerator, which is also called as sparger, how to design it? See, our topic is designing of fermenter. We are designing a fermenter. We have designed the aerators. We have designed the agitators. Now we will study about aerators. See, to design an aerator just to supply oxygen into the medium, it is not so easy to think that just you can put a pipeline and just pump air into it. No, you have to do a lot of calculation. How much of air has to be supplied has to be calculated. For that, many things have to be considered. What are that? We'll see now. Media viscosity. It means the thickness of the medium. How medium is whether the medium is very thick or is it very thin like water. That we have to see, because thickness of the medium, viscosity of the medium will define how much of oxygen has to be forcefully supplied into the medium. So viscosity plays a role. Next, temperature of the medium. Temperature, sometimes you may do fermentation at 45 degrees, sometimes you may do at 27 degrees Celsius. There is a lot of difference between two different temperatures, 27 and 45. So knowing the temperature helps us in supplying of air. Next thing is bubble size. As I told you, simply not placing the tube inside and supplying air. When air goes inside the fermenter, it will go in the form of a bubble. So what should be the size of the bubble also you have to calculate. Next thing is contact time between the gas and the liquid. Contact time between the gas and the liquid here means how much time it takes for the gas to break up and reach the liquid. See here, uh, by definition, sparger is something which supplies air into the liquid fermenter. So that contact we have to establish. Next is called media volume. Media volume also plays a role. How much of media is there? If you are using 10,000 liter of media, you have to calculate how much liters of air has to be supplied per liter. This much of oxygen has to be, this much of air has to be supplied. So volume of air depends on volume of media, and per minute you have to calculate. So all these calculations have to be done. Next is type of agitator. See, agitator type also plays. You have studied different types of agitators. Based on the agitator also the aeration values will change. So that also has to be calculated. Gas pressure required, how much pressure of gas we have to force into the fermenter also has to be calculated. So students, it is not as easy as you think that you can just place a tube inside and supply air into the fermenter. All these criteria you have to consider for calculating the supply of air into the fermenter. Next, this we will see the types of aerators, also called as spargers. There are three types are there: porous sparger, orifice sparger, and nozzle sparger. All it is nothing but the way you want to supply the air inside the fermenter. Whether you want to supply it in form of large bubbles or small air bubbles, how you want to distribute air into the fermenter. Based on that, three types of spargers are being used. You can see the representative diagrams on the right hand side. They don't show you the three types actually. They just show you, see, you just remember during this topic about the fish tank. If you have at home or you have seen outside how air will be supplied into a fish tank, small bubbles will be released. Same way you just assume, based on the size of the fish tank, you will be supplying the oxygen into the tank. Same way you just see small bubbles are getting released from the sparger, and below you can see sparger tubes, how they will, this is called cylindrical gas spargers. So commercially this is how sparger tubes are available for supplying air into the fermenters. So we call it as spargers. Next, porous, that's the first type. There are three types are there. Let us see the properties of the three types. What is their role in the industry? First is porous sparger. So it is made up of basically it may be made up of glass, ceramic, or metal. You can see on the right hand side the image. It will look like that. From that the bubbles, air bubbles will be released. So mostly such type of spargers called as porous spargers are used mostly for lab scale fermenters, not bigger fermentation. For just for lab scale fermentation, they will be using such type of spargers. Here, the bubble size will be larger than the pore size of the sparger. It means large size of bubbles will be released. So usually for small scale fermentation, we'll be using this type of sparger, which releases the wherein the bubble size will be larger. But the only problem faced here, and why it is used only for small scale, is that small holes you can see. It is made up of small holes. Those that in that image you can see that holes may get blocked because of microbial growth. When you are growing bacteria, it will sometime or later sometimes they will form a mat, a film like growth, and they will block this air passage. So constantly it has to be cleaned. That cannot be done with large scale, so we use it for small scale fermentation. So we call it as porous sparger. Next type is orifice sparger. So here orifice is the second type of sparger, which is basically also used for something like pilot scale fermenters. Pilot scale fermenters. Here you can see the orifice sparger is also called as perforated pipes. Perforated pipes means, see, I have already shown you a diagram of sparger in the beginning of the slide. It will be at the bottom, one tube will be running. You have seen that. So here orifice sparger's role is the tube itself. The you can see the second point, under surface of the tube, not on the top, under surface of those tubes, small holes will be drilled in that tubes, and from through the tubes only air will be supplied into the fermenter. So either directly they will drill the hole into the tube, underside of the tube, or in the underside of the tube they will attach ring like structures containing small holes. You can see the diagram, right side diagram. It is a ring type ring, we call it as ring sparger, a ring type material attached to the pipe. So in that ring you can see there are small holes are there in circular fashion. Around 8 holes are there. In 4 circles it is kept, so almost 32 holes are there. And you can see that at the outer edge there is screw hole is there. With that screw they will tighten it to the pipe facing underside of the pipe, and through these holes the air will be supplied into the fermenter. The hole size also is standardized. 6 mm holes are there, and you can see the ring size also is standardized 26 it is attached to 34 pipe. So this is the standard property of orifice sparger. The only problem here is pressure should not drop. You have to continuously with high pressure you have to supply air. What happens if pressure drops is the media will enter into the pipes. To avoid that only we are keeping it at the underside of the tube, not on the top. But still these are the problems faced with orifice sparger. The next type is, okay, this diagram, some more examples I have given you how it looks exactly, the orifice sparger. Here you can see in this diagram different types of orifice spargers, how the holes are arranged in that ring. You can see the first example, the rings in the earlier example what I had shown you was it is arranged in a circular concentric fashion. Here you can see the how the ring is common, but the holes, different types of holes they are provided. It is in different format. That diagram you can see in the A, B, C and D. C you can see how it is arranged, and D you can see it is. So all these are nothing but holes drilled into the ring like structure. All these are examples of orifice sparger, also called as ring sparger. Third type is nozzle sparger. So this is very important. Why? Because this type of sparger is used especially for large scale fermentation, that is for huge fermenters running at 10,000 or 1 lakh liter. For that they use nozzle sparger. Here the only difference between the other two and this one is single open will be there, single hole will be there. There you have seen 32 holes are there. Here single hole will be there, partially, that hole will be partially closed pipe. So the concept here is stream of air bubbles. See, in this nozzle sparger the only concept is only one hole is there, and you will be with high pressure, you will be pushing the air into the fermenter. So in the diagram you can see, in this diagram, the left hand side diagram you see, not those two, all the three comparison it has been put. The first one, the left hand side, that is called as nozzle sparger, wherein the bubbles are forced into the fermenter. So here this is also positioned centrally below the impeller, and because of its nature it doesn't get blocked at all. That is why it is used for large scale fermentation, because with such pressure it will be coming out, no media will enter into the pipe or into the hole. So with this three types we have seen, and before we complete this PPT, the combined agitator sparger also is this is an innovative way, see, of using air supply. That is called combined agitator sparger. Two examples I have quoted. Just look into the examples. Left and right both are different. Just read the sentence very carefully. Agitator with an additional role of sparger. What does it mean? See, in the first diagram I put that agitator separate, aerator separate. All till now you have studied like that. In some industry what they do is agitator and aerator, one pipe only will do the work of both. In the first example you can see agitator is playing also the role of sparger. It is agitator, it is true agitator. From the top it is hanging into the medium, but that tube is hollow tube. Hollow tube means in the tube you can see air is getting passed. In that red I have written, you see in the first diagram, right, left hand side diagram, air released at the terminal point. That means you can see it is a true agitator with blades at the bottom. You can see impeller, it is written. It is a true agitator. It is like our fan only. It is a true agitator, but the tube, the shaft I told you in the middle, agitator shaft is there. That shaft will be hollow inside. That means through that shaft only air will be supplied. So this diagram, what does it makes you make you understand is agitator plays an additional role of sparger. That is, it is true agitator, but through that agitator itself you are supplying air. Next, right hand side diagram you see sparger doing the additional role of agitator. Here what is happening is, in this diagram observe carefully, there is no agitator in this diagram. It's a column fermenter. From the bottom air is there. Air only, that is the sparger we call it as, it will only play the role of agitator. That means you can see it is an example of airlift fermenters. It is used to grow yeast and all. You can see at the bottom the air is supplied at such a high pressure using nozzle. as the bubbles go up, you can see the bubbles only will mix up the medium. That means mixing is done by air. That is why we call here as Sparger doing the additional role of agitator. So with this we are completing the basic design and components of a fermenter. We have studied design of fermenter, and we have studied the design of agitator, aerator and temperature control. In the next video we will going further, we will move on to the next topic.